Hi, this is Drew Bezron, and this is part 3 of my literature review on disruptive innovation in the classroom and in the professional world. And so now I want to talk about the Horizon Report. As I look through usually 2014, 2015, and the 2016 reports, I found some incredible information about how we're going to develop technology in these industries. I want to elaborate on each one. But there's some trends going on here in higher education. The short-term impact, we have a growing focus on measuring learning. And what this means is that there's an increased public awareness about what's going on in colleges. And I think it is a good thing that there's an impact on how learning is done in our colleges, because I do think we're having some problems addressing quality in our colleges. But also another trend that they identify is the increased use of blended learning designs. The amount of colleges now that have hybrid programs that you can get, but I'm surprised at how far some of this has gone, but how far another direction that this has not happened in. For example, at my undergraduate college, Nicholls State University, they don't even have an online Master of Business Administration degree. And I think this is a good trend to improve on in the future as to how they can make it better. Also, in the midterm impact, somewhere down the line, there's a trend now to redesign learning spaces and to shift to deeper learning approaches. I think in terms of how we use technology for learning in the future, we're going to have to use digital learning like virtual reality in terms of some aspects in how we learn. But also, we have some long-term impacts I believe we have to take a look at. We have more cultures of innovation now, and we're rethinking how institutions work, as I elaborated on before. I think these are all playing a role towards year 2020 or further down the line as to what we're actually moving towards. I think now there's a general rethinking of how we're using computers in education in terms of what we're doing with them. And in terms of challenges, they list several that I found very profound in how we're doing education today. Once again, we're doing blended learning formats and we're improving our digital literacy. But I also see a great challenge here when we talk about difficulties, in that we have competing models of education and we're personalizing learning. I think as we go along, we're going to have to really decipher how we perceive learning in terms of making it customized. We have to do a much better job of providing pathways for students to learn. And today, I think it's a lot of times seen as a distraction when we talk about competing models of education, because we have the on-campus approaches, we have the online, we have other versions, and I think it's going to be very interesting as to how we implement all this. Now, there are a few, as they describe as wicked challenges in the Horizon reports that really I want to elaborate on now that are very impactful. And we talk about balancing our connected lives and our unconnected lives. And also we have to keep education relevant. One of the biggest challenges that I believe we have to consider going forward today is how do we keep education relevant? I think for a lot of students, they see education as sort of a brick and mortar thing and not as a digital one. And so we have to do a much better job of providing excitement in the learning environment. How are we balancing our connected and our unconnected lives? We have to make sure that technology in our classrooms is not a distraction, but rather a feature that we are incorporating into our curriculums in terms of schools nationwide, in terms of how we teach. But I think this is also a challenge in the corporate sector, because there have been numerous challenges through the years about how to use technology effectively to run a company. And as we see now, there's more technologies available, but are they using them effectively? Well, I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit more a little bit later. But right now, in the next part, I want to elaborate on my 5 key areas as to how we can make technology better used in our schools.